Welcome to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
So here we are on the Biz Gone Social podcast, and I am so glad to be here. And my promise to you, as always, is I want to give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that's going to energize your business and energize your social media marketing. After all, don't you want to be the business that everyone's talking about? I know I do. And today, I am so stoked to have Natalie Guzman with me. Welcome, Natalie.
Hey, Lorraine, how you doing?
Good. Tell me one thing that you would love your audience to know about who you serve, what you do, and a little bit more about you.
Sure. So my journey into entrepreneurship started in 2015. Me and my husband were trying for a family, and we had a lot of difficulties. I was finally pregnant in the safe zone of my pregnancy with my first child, and my job told me I had 2 days to give birth, and then I'd have to go back to work, which obviously is not going to work out. Not a good thing, not a company I want to work for. So I decided right then and there, I'm never going to give a job that much control over my life and my income ever again, and try to find ways to make money from home. And I discovered being a virtual assistant. I created a virtual assistant agency, and in 3 months we hit 6 figures, and all while raising 2 preemies that were 2 and 3 pounds, 12 months apart. And it's this amazing, beautiful business that's really kind of growing and running on its own now. So I opened Nadora.org, which is my second company that you can create like unlimited websites, funnels, email marketing, automation, so much more, but also has a community of like-minded entrepreneurs. And it has education materials from experts in their fields. So it's kind of like an all-in-one system for entrepreneurs.
Nice. So like if I came in as an entrepreneur and I needed like a website with automations and then a couple funnels going to a few of my products, you put that together for me.
Yeah. So you can either do it yourself on our software, or you can utilize our marketing mavens, as we like to call them, to do it for you.
I love that. There's a lot of people say, oh, we have social media now. Why in the world would I need a website? Do we really need a website to run a business today?
Yes. Yes. I can't tell you. Oh man, so we just moved to a small town, 3,000 people, very, very small town. And all the business here do not have websites. The ones that do are the ones that get my business. Because one, it's a way that I can learn more about them. Like literally all the information, you can say exactly, who you are, what you do, and who you help, all in one platform, all on your website. Whereas social media, you're kind of saying that stuff in multiple clips, kind of all over the place. And your bio can only hold so much content. Number 2 is that you own the website. So I have a friend today, her social media account, 20,000 people, hacked and deleted. And if she didn't have her website, she would be in really, really big trouble. But because she migrated people to her email list, and now they have her website, and her name is really well known, and it's the same as her domain name, she's doing really well. She's okay. But she is really, really upset. You can just imagine. So website is that, and there's so many things you can do with a website, especially when you get into website strategy, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't do. You can really make it work for you and your goals.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like just recently somebody just told me that they got hacked and they can't get this was actually Facebook. So it wasn't cloned, like everybody thinks they get hacked, but they're really cloned. This was literally, they had their website, their Facebook page, their password, and they changed everything, and they can't get their Facebook page back. So it's like, this happens all the time. So I totally agree with you. What would you say are some of the trends in website design that are coming up, that are up right now?
Yeah. So right now is, there's a couple of them. So one of my biggest things right now are summits. which you kind of go, not a lot of people think websites when they think summits, right? But you need to build a landing page. We usually have a video, which actually this is another thing on your main website, is video content right now is super popular. If you have a video explaining you personally talking, because I think after the pandemic, we all really wanted connection, right? So video content is huge right now. That's personal, not the animation videos. Those are actually not doing so great right now. We just tested two different websites, or the same website with two different video formats, and the animation did not convert. People only watched maybe 10 seconds of it. Whereas the personal one, they would watch all the way through, if not halfway. So that was really important. And keeping those videos short, about 2 minutes long is really, like TikToks, that's really popular right now. So I try to keep it with the trends. So about 2 to 3 minutes at most is what we do for those videos. But summits are a really great way to build your email list, and that you can direct them all using one landing page. So we usually do a video, and then a form just asking for their name and email, and then an optional text message campaign. If they want to join, it's optional. And that really helps build authority, connection, and it shows you're an expert in your field, and you can collaborate with a lot of experts. So for those that don't know, Summit is an online event, and where you have a whole bunch of different experts in their fields that come together to teach whatever they're good at. And it can be anywhere from like 7 to 21 speakers. So they're a lot of fun, but the greatest part is all the speakers combine their email list together and just like really try to promote, so that way you can build your email list.
Yeah, I usually participate in one summit a year, and it's really a lot of fun. Yeah. So there's a lot of, processes involved in when it comes to having a website and what you could do. And I always think the most important thing is, because same with social media, it's important to capture somebody's name and email. But once you do that, then the whole process of automation is involved. But some people, you go to their site, you download their thing, and then I never hear from them again. And I've tested that out. Why do you think it's important to have, automation, and especially in the area that I talked about?
Yeah, so I learned the beauty of automation as a virtual assistant. I saw how much people were spending on a VA, and then I realized those tasks could be automated and they could be saving themselves a ton of money. So that's the first thing. My company personally, the virtual assistant agency, saves 38 hours a week in automations. I'm like the automation queen. I love it. I could talk all day about automations. So mine are very intense and very crazy, and I have multiple trees and sections. But that's what I love to do. So I've made a habit of like trying to cut down on costs and time, but also make it where it's still humanized, right? Because that's the one thing with automations. You want to make sure, especially now AI is a huge thing and it's becoming huge in automations. You want to make sure you're still humanizing and knowing when to, direct real people contact as well.
Absolutely. What is tell me a success story, one of your, a great with automation, because I love hearing those.
Sure. So I have a client that I absolutely love because she's always coming up with new business ideas, and she hires my team to basically take those ideas and turn them into reality, which is what we love to do. And so she started out in the tree industry, and she came to me and was like, Natalie, I have all these different parts and ideas, and I just don't know what to do with them. And so we were able to, create a chatbot for her website. We were able to create an automation sequence for text reviews, to build out referrals, any type of promotions going on. We're able to create multiple calendars because in the tree industry, it's very important. You got the booking, you have the actual scheduling of the arrival of the appointment, and then we also have follow-ups. So we were able to do that and save them so much time, but also so much disconnect. It really helps with client retention, because when you don't have a system in a business that is really put together and you have all the steps of the customer journey lined out, you can lose clients really, really easily. They can slip. They'll feel like that they're all alone because you're, as an entrepreneur, trying to do so many different things at once. So we were able to create the automations, processes, and systems and give her a team of VAs to support her. So that way her clients didn't feel like they were being abandoned. And they were able to grow. And now she's has 3 more businesses that we're working on for her.
That's awesome. Now, are there any limitations when it comes to automation, or is it, all things work out?
I think the biggest one is testing. So not only do you want to test that everything works, all your links work, your directions, you want to go through it literally yourself with the mind thinking that you're the customer, the lead. Number 2, I would say, is the humanizing. So like making sure that when it comes to a point where they're asking for more help or more support, that they're getting a live person. We had a couple clients switch over to our platform because they dealt with a company that was not supporting them and not helping them, not responding to emails. So these are really big things that can, fault with your automation, especially if, say, it was going to an old email address and now you're not receiving those emails because you forgot to update it in your automations. So really, if you're changing anything in your business, you have to look at your automations because it's like a domino effect and it can all fall apart.
Now, tell me a little bit about the platform that did you create, or is it your own, or is it somebody else's?
Yeah, so Nadora is a white label software. So basically it's a software that we purchased the base of it. And then we basically, I like to say we put it on steroids. So because I put it all my own touch, we added a bunch of coding and things to make it really cool and to have what we notice entrepreneurs need. So it's kind of a mix of both of them being mine, but also using white label software.
Okay, so what does it do? So what does this software do?
It does everything pretty much for a digital business. So it does website creating. You can create your automations. You can create email marketing, text campaigns. It has a social media planner. It has so much that you can do. It's absolutely insane. Forms. And it's your CRM system as well. So all your contacts are in there and everything. So you no longer have to have like multiple platforms. Like we had a client that was on Hubstaff and ActiveCampaign. They had Kajabi for their courses. You can also do course creation in our platform. So we were able to save them $600 a month because they were paying so much money in platforms. So that's like one of the best parts about our software.
I've used so many pieces of software for various things, and some are more quirky than others. How is your software compared to, for instance, how does your software compare to Kajabi?
Yeah, so one of the things that I like about our software compared to Kajabi is that it's more customizable. I felt like, especially when it came to the email marketing in Kajabi, it always fell short, right? I see you nodding your head. Yeah, so it is really, that was one of my favorite things, is that I could do my brand colors. I could create my whole layout and design, especially with the websites. We do have templates that you can use, but you can also build yours from the ground up with a drag and drop system, which is really cool. So you don't need to know coding to create your own layouts and your own site. And another part is the automations is a lot more in depth than it is in Kajabi. I always had to use some sort of like Zapier or ActiveCampaign with Kajabi, which got pricey because especially when you have a larger business, Zapier keeps charging for all those zaps, right? And ActiveCampaign is like $150 a month. And I just use that for the automations. So I really liked Nadora because I could do all that stuff in one and I could make it more to my brand.
Great. Now you mentioned courses. So,
Yes.
Kajabi, you can put your own courses in, and there's an amazing software out there right now called Experience By, which kind of gamifies your course experience. So tell me there's a lot of people out there that, because of marketing of recent, have been toying with the idea of creating a course, or they've created a course and they have no idea where to put it. Because there's other stuff. There's like Thinkific and there's all these, and Thinkific, don't even get me started. But there's all these other platforms for courses. So tell me some effective strategies when you're structuring your course. And what do you think is important when choosing a platform to put your courses on?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So some things to keep in mind when you're trying to find a platform for your course is, can you do all type of audio files? So can you do audio, video? Can you have attachments? A lot of us have worksheets and workbooks. You want that all in one place. So that's one thing. Number two is the automations. That's why I like Nadora for courses, because I can automate my email marketing, my welcome emails, my text reminders, all sorts of things to really keep building that communication. Because the great thing about courses, and this goes back to your question about how do you design it, is that you really want to make sure that you're not just creating the course, you're selling it over and over again, but that's not where it ends. You want to keep your customer loyal to you. That's how we create really great wealth. And so one of the things you're going to do with that is your automations, your email marketing, and your text reminders, if they opt in, of course. So those are some like really important factors I would keep in mind when creating a course.
Awesome. I'm going to switch gears here because there's a lot of people who listen to my podcast are business owners. And so I want to get real here a little bit. So what is the biggest thing that you love about being in business for yourself?
I love that I can be a mom and a business owner and not have to sacrifice either. So I can work when I want, where I want, especially because I have a digital business. And if my husband's in law enforcement, and so sometimes he'll have a last minute shift, or he'll be called for an emergency and he has to leave within 20 minutes of our house. And so I need to make sure that I'm there for my children, or to handle whatever, if maybe he needs some errands run, or there's times I've brought things to him to help out his team. And so I just it's really nice that I can be there as a wife and as a mom for my family without having to sacrifice anything.
That's awesome. And, we always talk about, it's funny, like our friends probably, and I'm sure you have the same thing, your friends probably think you're so cool because you have your own business and all that. But, it's not always that glamorous. What would you say is the biggest struggle for you as being a business owner?
I think at first it's a couple stages, because it's always ever changing, right? Especially as where I was in 2015 is completely different where I am in 2023. So when I was in my first couple of years, it was keeping up with supply and demand. Either having enough team members to work the hours that we had, or trying to find leads so I can pay my team. I think that was my biggest struggle. But now it's just really creating those, making sure that my clients, because my clients are not techies, especially the ones that work with our VAs. And so I really try to make sure that we are communicating clearly and how they understand. So I'm always creating new systems and processes, especially when it comes to Nadora, because it is a really robust system that they're able to learn and understand all the aspects of it. It's definitely a work in progress.
Awesome. So lastly, what would be the biggest piece of advice that could be timeless and go across all, like, startups, maybe, and some seasoned business owners, and maybe some people who are toying with the idea of having their own business? What would be one piece of advice that you can give?
To always improve your systems and processes, but also your communication. Feel like anyone that answers that last question I just did for you on your podcast, what are you struggling with in your business? It's usually comes down to your system and process or your communication. So those are things that we try to look on a monthly basis to try to see what we can improve, and just always keep improving and going back routinely. Make it a routine.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And if somebody connected with you today, or, they need your services, how would they get in touch with you? And do you have anything to offer my audience?
Yeah, we do. So at Nadora.org, we have a 2-week free trial. Make sure you use the BizGoneSocial for the referral keyword. And then that way we know where you came from. And, but yeah, so it's a 2-week free trial of the whole software. You get to see our classes, and as well as, maybe try out some funnels and automations, see how you like it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being a guest.
Yeah. Thanks, Lauren. I had fun.
Until next week, everyone, I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social podcast. Find us on Instagram at BizGoneSocial for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.